Study 9, Suzana. Suzana, 49 years old, was a full-time housewife residing in Bangsa. She had a husband and 3 school-going children. Previously, she worked as a clerk at Maybank Bangsa for 7 years before moving to Syarikat Teguh Maju Sendirian Berhad for 2 years. In 2019, she made the decision to quit her job to focus entirely on her household and family. After a few years of being a full-time housewife, her health suddenly deteriorated. Following a comprehensive health examination at a private hospital, she was diagnosed with stage 4 cervical cancer. She needed intensive treatment and underwent a chemotherapy session at the hospital. After a year of treatment, Suzana passed away.
This is a Malaysian law that provides social security protection for employees, and it is administered by the Social Security Organisation or SOCSO, also known as Perkeso. The purpose of this act is to ensure financial protection for workers and their dependents in case of unexpected events such as injury, invalidity, or death. Under ESSA 1969, there are 2 main schemes, which are the Employment Injury Scheme and the Invalidity Scheme. In the case of Mrs. Suzana, she is covered under the Invalidity Scheme. This scheme provides 24-hour coverage, meaning it protects individuals against invalidity or death from any cause, whether it is related to work or not. Since Mrs. Suzana was suffering from stage 4 cervical cancer, she may qualify for invalidity pension, which provides financial support when a person is no longer able to work. After her death, her husband and 3 children may receive a survivor pension. A funeral benefit of up to 3,000 ringgit may also be given to the person who paid for the funeral. In conclusion, this act helped protect Mrs. Suzana and her family by giving financial support during her illness and after her death.
Okay, so moving on to the next question. Under the Employee Social Security Act 1969, specifically the Invalidity Scheme, Suzana and her family members are entitled to several benefits. The first benefit is that of the invalidity pension. So this is essentially a pension that provides a monthly payment to insured persons who suffer from a serious illness or a permanent condition that prevents them from working effectively. So in Suzana's case, she was diagnosed with stage 4 cervical cancer at the age of 49. So since her illness severely affected her ability to be able to do work normally, and she met the contribution requirements, she would qualify for the invalidity pension. So this monthly income would help her cover, living expenses and medical needs after she stopped working. Next, the next benefit is that of the survivor's pension. So this benefit provides monthly financial support to the dependents of an insured person who passes away. So after Suzana's death, her husband and her 3 children would be eligible to receive the survivor's pension. So the monthly payments would help them to replace income loss after due to her death, after she stopped working, and as well as assist the family with their daily expenses. So thirdly, the next benefit is that of the funeral benefit. So under the invalidity scheme, a funeral benefit of up to RM3,000 may be paid to the person who bears the funeral expenses. So since Suzana passed away from stage 4 cervical cancer, funeral costs would have been incurred to her family by her family, for example, her husband or a family member. So therefore, the husband or family member who paid for the funeral could claim this benefit to reduce the financial burdens. Finally, the last benefit is the education benefit. So this benefit provides educational assistance to eligible children of insured people or persons who die or receive an invalidity pension. So since Suzana left behind 3 school-going children, they may qualify for this educational assistance from SOCSO. So this support helps ensure that their education can continue despite the family's struggles, differences, and their suffering with a loss, such as Suzana's death. So in conclusion, the 4 benefits that Suzana is entitled to and her family are the invalidity pension, the survivor's pension, the funeral benefit, and the education benefit. So these benefits provide important financial protection and support during illness and after the loss of a family member or loved one. Thank you.
Next, we look at question 3, which focuses on the qualifying condition that Mrs. Suzana must fulfill in order to receive Social Security benefits under the SOCSO Invalidity Scheme. To qualify for the invalidity scheme, an insured person must satisfy a few primary conditions. The first critical requirement is the age limit condition. According to the Employees Social Security Act 1969, an insured person must be under 60 years of age at the exact time the notice of invalidity is submitted to SOCSO. This age ceiling is intentionally aligned with Malaysia's Minimum Retirement Age Act 2012, since the scheme serves as an income replacement for workers who lose their earning capacity due to a non-work-related chronic illness. This protection formally ends once an individual reaches the national retirement age. So based on this case study, Suzana was diagnosed with stage 4 cervical cancer and needed heavy treatment like chemotherapy. Stage 4 cancer is clearly a severe condition that makes it impossible for her to work. So her family just need to submit her hospital report to SOCSO Medical Board for official approval. Moving on to the second condition, which is the medical certification of invalidity. Under Section 16 of the Act, it is not just enough to be diagnosed with an illness. The insured person must be officially certified as invalid by the SOCSO Medical Board. The law defines invalidity as a serious, permanent morbid condition that is either incurable or highly unlikely to be cured. Crucially, this condition must severely impact the individual's earning capacity, rendering them unable to earn at least 1/3 of the customary earnings of a normal, able-bodied worker with similar qualifications. Looking at the facts of the case, Suzana was diagnosed with stage 4 cervical cancer and had to undergo intensive chemotherapy. Advanced stage cancer inherently constitutes a permanent morbid condition that completely stops a person from working. Therefore, a legally secure her monthly invalidity pension during her treatment, Suzana's medical reports from the private hospital must be formally assessed and verified by SOCSO appointed medical board.
Moving on to the third and fourth qualifying condition, the third condition is the Contribution Qualifying Condition or CQC. To qualify for the invalidity pension under the Employees Social Security Act 1969, an insured person must satisfy either the full qualifying condition or the reduced qualifying condition. Under the full qualifying condition, the individual must have made at least 24 monthly contribution within the 40 consecutive months before the notice of invalidity is received by Perkeso. Alternatively, under the reduced qualifying condition, the individual must have contributed for at least 1/3 of the total months covered under the scheme, with a minimum of 24 monthly contribution. So, in Suzuna's case, she worked for 7 years at Maybank and 2 years at Syarikat Teguh Maju Sendirian Berhad. Therefore, it is very likely that she have accumulated sufficient SOCSO contribution and would satisfy this requirement. The fourth condition is the submission of claim and supporting document. Claimant must comply with Perkeso's administrative procedure by submitting the required claim form together with supporting documents such as identification record, employment information, and medical report. So for Suzana, her diagnosis of stage 4 cervical cancer and chemotherapy treatment record would serve as an important medical evidence. This document would enable the medical board to assess her condition and determine her eligibility for invalidity benefits.
And for question 4, I will discuss Suzana's right regarding her savings under the Employees Provident Fund Act 1991 or EPF Act 1991. Firstly, EPF, also known as KWSP, is a retirement savings scheme in Malaysia. Both employees and employees are contribute to an EPF account to help employees save money for their future and retirement. Suzana's first right is that her EPF savings are protected by law. During her employment contributions, made by both Suzana and her employees were kept in her EPF account. Even after she became a full-time housewife in 2019, her savings remained safe and continued to earn annual dividends. Secondly, Suzana had the right to nominate beneficiaries. This means she could choose individuals such as her husband or her children to receive her EPF savings after her death. The nominations process helps ensure that the savings are distributed according to her wishes. Thirdly, after Suzana's death, the money accumulated in her EPF account, including dividends, can be claimed by her nominee. If she did not make a nomination, the savings still can be claimed by her lawful beneficiaries through the procedures set by EPF itself. In addition, these savings provide financial support to her dependents. The funds can help her husband and children manage daily expenses and maintain financial stability after the loss of the family's main breadwinner. Finally, her dependents may also be eligible for the EPF death benefit, subject to EPF terms and conditions. In conclusion, the EPF Act 1991 protects Suzana's saving and ensures that her family can receive the benefits after her death, helping to provide financial security for her dependents. Thank you.